got into costumes since I was young. I've always thought the transformative nature of costumes was fascinating. I would dress up as a little girl and I could become anything. I really started doing costumes in high school when my teacher just kind of put me at it, and then I realized I actually knew exactly how to put outfits together and no one had to teach me how to do it. I think that costumes are incredibly personal, and they're a language that kind of connects everybody, even without us actually recognizing that we are connected through them, because everybody touches clothes and everybody feels clothes and everybody has their own relationship with clothing, and it's on such a subliminal, subconscious level that we all connect to it. And I think I've actually been realizing lately that my art is actually a lot more about connecting people than it is about designing anything. And I'm always fascinated by people's reactions. So what I found in costuming is that it's like, it is crafty, it is artsy, but it's about the people who are wearing it, and it's about how other people like judge the people who are wearing it. So I do costuming because it's a nonverbal way of connecting everybody. And then also just the world of fabric and fantasy and color, and fabric is just such a manipulative thing. It's so versatile. So I love it. I struggle with originality. That's really hard for me to cope with. I know that everybody loves the phrase art is stealing. I know that everybody talks about how everything's already been done and everything is just to be like kind of remade and redone. But I always want to see what my brain can come up with that no one has ever seen or done before. And I struggle with trying to get inspired without copying because I want to be original. And that's hard because the best things come from inspiration from other people's work too. So my job is typically more along the line of taking what a director or a playwright wants and forming the character, which could be either shopping or collecting normal clothes or sewing creations. There definitely is a little bit of monotony to the actual task of a costume designer. It's not always just being like creative and building crazy fantasy things. A lot of times it's the logistics of these jeans will not fit somebody, or those shoes are going to scuff up the floor, or what can go in a machine washable item. So there's a lot of really sort of like tedious like domestic stuff that you have to kind of take care of. What I hate is that is absolutely all part of the like overall knowledge you have to have, and people underestimate how much time and work that takes. So one of my major what the project of the basket is actually about, one of the reasons we're doing this show, is that people underestimate the power of the costume designer, and there's a sort of constant thread of, or sort of a constant people are constantly asking costume designers to work either below their skills and their capabilities and be under-creative and underutilize their actual talents, and they're also expecting an amount of work that is actually just unfeasible. So there's those two things, like there's that duality of like they magically want things exactly when they want them, and they don't recognize all of the small little tasks that have to come together in order to make costumes happen, and they don't actually allow a lot of costume designers to fully express themselves and fully stretch all of their creativity. That's what this basket is about. That's what the show is about, is the fact that costumers have a lot more in them. So I guess the larger question is, I think that costume designers are constantly I think that costume designers are constantly misunderstood, and I want to change the way people see that. Well, one of the reasons why is because I've always just naturally been good at it. Like, it wasn't something that someone had to taught me. I had natural instincts that allowed me to be perceptive of clothes and to work with materials and to work in 3 dimension. Like, it is so easy for me to figure out how I have to create something in 3D. I've always loved that. And I love, like, even with this basket, I love that the whole time I had no idea how the next step was going to happen. And I had to make it, get to a step, and I love that challenge. That's always what I've loved about creating costumes that haven't existed before. I really like identifying as a costume designer. I like saying I'm a costume designer, and people always react interestingly to it. Again, I think it's because clothing is something that everybody can relate to, and everybody always wants to fantasize about how their appearance can come off. So because of that, people really understand what it means to go wild about your fashion. And my name is Yonit Olshan, and I am a costume creator.